Hello, can you hear me or not?
Yes.
Okay, let's mark your attendance first, yeah. Wait. Yeah, the system is not ready yet. Just wait for 1 minute, 1 more minutes. How is your preparations for exam? Confidence?
Just going to start.
Sorry?
Just going to start.
Or just going to start? Okay. Okay, should be able to mark your attendance now and then let me check the system. Alright, okay. Hu Heng Dong? Hu Heng Dong, are you there? Lu Juemin?
Yes, sir.
Han Xiang?
Yes, sir.
Wei Hong?
Yes.
Ong Kai Chen?
Yes, sir.
Ong Mei Lin? Ong Mei
Yes,
Lin?
sir. Yes, sir.
Pang Xuan Wen?
Yes, sir.
Hua Yi Hang? Hua Yi Hang? So Yan Chang? Tan Xing Shen?
Yes, sir.
Teo Leong Ho?
Yes, sir.
Teo Yi Si?
Yes, sir.
Wong Chung Yi?
Yes, sir.
Wong Ka Shing? Wong Ka Shin? Yo Weng Liang?
Yes, sir.
Yong Weng Liang?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yong Chi Ye?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay, there are three. Hu Heng Dong, are you there? Hua Yi Hang? Wong Ka Shing? Three absent, yeah. Alright, can someone remind me what was the last question that we discussed during the last tutorial? What was the question that we discussed during the last tutorial? Is this a limits to grow?
Factor that limit the growth of human population.
Factors that limit the growth of human populations. There is a limit to grow, isn't it? Is it a Malthus theory? Okay, let me project my screen first, yeah. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Question 4 we have discussed already, is it right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so today I want you to treat it just like if you are sitting in the exam. Okay, so spend half an hour to answer 2 questions. Okay, in tutorial I break down the question by question, but in exam it could be combined together. Yeah, I want you to spend 15 minutes discussing about question. Sorry, question five. Question 5. Okay, I want to discuss about question 5. Given the strong objection and problem faced by the nuclear industry, do you think that the nuclear energy based on nuclear fission, not fusion, will have a major role in the future? Okay, so what is your opinion? State the problem and or the objection and the future status of this problem. So spend 15 minutes, discuss about, write down your answer about this. Then after you have finished this, spend another 15 minutes to answer question 7. Okay. Previously, Malaysia government did announce that Malaysia will go for nuclear energy. In your opinion, do you think this is the right move? So in the exam, highly likely one question will consist of these two parts. Okay, so you need to answer it within half an hour. Yeah, I give you half an hour from now. Later, I will ask one by one of you one by one to discuss it. Okay, each question write around 3 to 4 points. Okay, 30 minutes from now. One thing I want you to be aware, especially for question 7, sometimes the disadvantages to other country, it could be advantageous to us, For example, if our neighboring country, Indonesia, want to set up nuclear power plant, and the country is located at the earthquake-prone area, okay? So just like what happened in the Japan, the tsunami for the Fukushima nuclear hydropower plant. Okay, so this is a disadvantageous because the nuclear power plant may be destroyed by the natural disaster. Whereas in Malaysia, we are fortunate enough it become advantageous. Disadvantageous in Indonesia become advantageous in Malaysia because we are free from earthquake and other natural disaster. We don't have typhoon or whatever, so we don't need to worry that the natural disaster will destroy our nuclear power plant. So bear in mind whether it is a good reason or negative reason. It is very much depending on the context. And your answer to question 7, it is not only yes and no, okay? It can be under certain circumstances you will agree, but if this circumstances does not happen, another set of circumstances or context is happening, then you may disagree with it, okay? So for question 7, you can have 3 different type of question answer: agree, disagree, partially agree, yeah, okay? But important is your justification. Hu Heng Dong, are you there? Hu Heng Dong? Hua Yi Hang? Wong Ka Shing? 3 absent. So it's supposed to finish by question 5 by now, okay? 15 minutes is over, so switch over to question 7. Yeah, to test out your speed in answering the question. You should answer question 7 now. Yeah. You have another 9 minutes, yeah, to complete your question 7. Okay, guys, time's up. Let's share our answer. Have you finished with your discussions? Hello, guys. Have you finished?
No, sir.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Another 5 more minutes.
Okay, another
Sir,
5 more
another
minutes.
5 more minutes.
Okay, okay. But you don't take too long, another 5 more minutes only. Okay, time's up, guy. Let's share your answer. Who want to volunteer your answer first? Any volunteer? If no volunteer, then we'll call name lah. Jamming, Lu Jamming.
Yes, sir.
Yes, come. What is your
Okay.
answer for question 5? Question 5 first, then followed by 7.
Okay. So for question 5, in my opinion, I think that public awareness is still a problem faced by the nuclear industry. This is because the general public still view the nuclear power as a dangerous or unstable process based on the 3 global nuclear accidents and its false association with the nuclear weapons.
What are the
Besides
what are the 3 global accidents?
I forget the name already, but then it is
Chernobyl, 3 more islands. Okay, now I continue. Jamie, continue.
Okay. Besides, the high operating costs also stand as one of the challenges faced by the industry because the strict regulations on maintenance, staffing levels, and also operator training and the plant's inspection has become a financial burden for the industry. But then, although having this
high operating costs, you need to explain.
sorry.
Why you need high operating costs for nuclear power plant? You need to explain. Don't just say high operating costs only. You need to explain why the cost is higher.
Oh.
You get me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I now haven't find out the explain about this. So should I just continue?
Okay, continue. Basically, the high operating cost is because of the safety issue is very stringent. They need to make sure that each and every component is working properly, and have a frequent check on that. Okay, continue, Jimmy.
But then, although having this challenge, but I think that the nuclear power could also have a major role as the nuclear energy can play a significant role in decarbonizing the production of the electricity. So basically, I think that the nuclear energy should be developed as a potential carbon-free energy resource.
Okay,
so,
if you say carbon-free resource, then you should say that because we are facing the greenhouse gases effect now due to the global warming, and then nuclear is one of the energy that does not emit greenhouse gases, so it does not create any pollution as far as greenhouse gases is concerned. Okay, you need you mentioned about greenhouse gases. And then another one, I just how came into my mind as for okay, and then you also can mention that it may have major role because it is having a high energy to weight ratio as compared to other alternative energy. You get me? That's mean high energy to weight ratio. That's mean you use a little bit of uranium-235, then he can produce a huge amount of energy. Remember in the lecture we are talking about the 500,000 kilowatt or megawatt per kg of uranium as compared to less than 100 for fossil fuel and so forth. You get me, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You need to explain in such a way that to justify your answer. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Right. Go to question 7. In Malaysia, go for nuclear energy. Then.
So, for question 7, in my opinion, I think that the Malaysia go for the nuclear energy is a right move because from the data that shows since 2011, the amount of the oil consumption has started to exceed the oil production, and also causing the Malaysia start to importing the oil. In order to solve the problem of the highly dependent on the fossil fuel, that we need to consider other resources too. So the coal is cheap, but then it leads to the increase in carbon emissions. And also renewable energy is clean, but then it's expensive. So with the comparison, the nuclear power plant seems to be a stable and long-term option. So and also with the increase in power consumption that causes the global warming, as well as the drop in the oil production, Malaysia also needs to consider another way for the power generation mix. So if adding the nuclear power into the mix, this will give both cheaper generation cost and also lower CO2 emissions. So that's all from my point.
And then you have increased energy demand for Malaysia. You can see that because Malaysia is gearing towards the industrialization. so that with the demand for power or energy requirement is increasing. Yeah. Okay, good, Jermaine. You just fine tune
Okay.
to be more in-depth discussions we'll do already. Yeah. Okay. Han Xiang.
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, because guys, when your fellow classmate is presenting their answer, if you find out they have some point that is not in your answer, please jot it down. Yeah. Okay. All right, Han Xiang, sorry. You can start now.
Hello, sir. Can you hear
Yeah.
me?
Can very
Yeah,
clear.
okay. So for question number 5, many people is having objection upon the implementation of nuclear energy is because the major problem of the nuclear energy is how to manage the waste product from the power plant operating to prevent nuclear pollution. If the waste product is not handled properly, it will cause many serious and deadly health hazards to the mankind, such as cancer and mutation. Secondly, people are having objection of the implementation of the nuclear energy is because there is a potential of a leakage or explosion of the nuclear power plant. This issue can be caused by either natural or human-made mistake. For example, in Japan, the nuclear disaster happened previously, causing the entire area of Fukushima is having highly radioactive pollution, which which caused the area is not suitable for living things to survive. The risk of this case is there, and people are scared of this kind of situation will happen. Therefore, come many objections arise with this issue. However, based on my opinion, I think that the nuclear energy plays an important role in developing in the development of the future of mankind. This is because the nuclear energy is the most efficient way that we can obtain a large amount of energy compared to those traditional methods, such as combustion of fossil fuel, hydro generation, wind generation, and etc. That's all from me for question.
Okay, very good. Question 7.
For question 7, I partially agree with the action taken by the Malaysian government. First of all, the reason that I agree with this is because Malaysia is free from natural disasters such as earthquake, tsunami, typhoon, and etc. Thus, the risk of nuclear power plant explosion can be reduced by a significant amount. Besides that, I agree with the action taken by the Malaysian government is because nuclear generation is a more efficient way to obtain large amount of energy as compared to other methods. Therefore, it will greatly help the development of Malaysia as more energy sources is available to be utilized.
Han Xiang, when you talk about high power generated by this nuclear energy, it's better to use a term the ratio of power to weight energy is high.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay. However, I disagree with this action is because the major problem is the radioactive waste product from the nuclear power plant. The waste product from the nuclear power plant is highly radioactive and will affect the ecosystem. If the waste product is not handled properly, it will become a nuclear disaster which causes the entire area and is not suitable for living things to survive. Overall, I think the action is legit if we have well-trained operators to work in the nuclear power plant that can minimize the human error to cause nuclear disaster, and also make sure government come up a best plan for the radioactive waste management that is acceptable by the public. That's all from me.
Okay, very good. But just now, the first point you're talking about the free of disaster, you mentioned that we don't have tsunami. Actually, we faced a tsunami once, Remember, almost the same time as the Japan facing the tsunami, our Penang Island is hit badly. Can you remember the incidents?
I'm not cannot.
We was attacked by tsunami once, okay? But earthquake, eruptions of a volcano, all this we don't have lah. Typhoon, all this we don't have. Okay, good. Han Xiang, keep it up. Okay, Wei Hong.
Yes.
Yes, come Wei Hong, come share your answer.
For question 5, okay. When we talk about the nuclear energy, I think most of us will recall the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, which caused a lot of negative impact to the citizen and the environment. However, from my point of view, nuclear energy will have a main role in the future because it is low cost energy. Nuclear power doesn't experience the same kind of price fluctuation as traditional fossil fuel energy sources like coal and natural gas do. Besides, nuclear energy is reliable. Unlike the
Before that, Wei Hong, can I stop you for a while? Yeah, you say low cost, you better quantify yourself, qualify yourself. Where is it is new cost? The new cost is because a little bit of uranium can produce a big amount of energy. But the setting up of nuclear power plant, it is very costly. To build up a nuclear power plant, it is very costly as compared to other energy. Okay. So when
Oh,
you say
yes,
that
yes.
so when you say that it is cheaper, then you better explain why it is, at which part it is cheaper. Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
all right, okay.
Right. Okay. Continue.
Uh, beside nuclear energy is reliable, unlike solar and wind energy, which rely on the sun or wind, nuclear power can produce energy at any time.
Actually, this one
Next,
you can use security of energy lah.
so,
Security of energy or consistency of the energy production.
yeah, consistency.
Mm,
Yes. Okay.
okay.
Next, nuclear power is eco-friendly as it does not produce any greenhouse gases emission. As we know, greenhouse gases such as carbon dioxide will harm the atmosphere and lead to climate change. Nuclear energy emit fewer greenhouse gases, which are better for the environment. So that's all for question 5.
Okay. When you're talking about greenhouse gases, you have to specially mention that as far as global warming is concerned, nuclear energy does not contribute to any emissions of greenhouse gases. Okay. But if you just talk about pollution in general, actually the nuclear waste, the spent rod, all these are causing the pollution problem. That we still do not have a real way, a really safety way to store it or to treat it. Okay.
All right, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Then question 7.
Question 7. From my point of view, I believe that Malaysia is not suitable for the development of nuclear energy. Firstly, public acceptance of Malaysian is quite low. A study showed that more than 50% of the respondents have the knowledge of nuclear energy. Apart of from that, only 39% are confident government can afford to build nuclear power plant in Malaysia, and 41% disagree nuclear energy is the best opinion for future energy. Next, Malaysia is still an immature country compared to other countries like Japan. Malaysia lack of nuclear energy professional. It will be a tragedy if a nuclear accident happens. A lot of training and safety systems should be done to ensure that the nuclear accident can be handled and solved by professional as soon as possible. Minimizing the negative impact on the environment and citizens is a must. So Malaysia is not suitable for the development of nuclear energy. So that's all for me.
Okay. Very good. Uh, okay. How about Kaichen?
Yeah. So
Yeah. Right. Come.
for my question 5, I think that nuclear energy will not be a major role in future. This is because of nuclear energy is a dangerous source of energy. It will impact the human health. Yeah, nuclear reactors has serious environmental and public health impact. The radioactive air and water pollution is released through the routine operation of the nuclear reactor, and this caused the releasing of various radioactive and chemical properties. Some of the radioactive and chemical properties can last for millions or billions of years. Next is the reactors incidents and leaks. The nuclear power is one of those energy will cause the catastrophic accidents. Although the probability of nuclear explosion is minor, and this is a significant risk of core meltdown and chemical explosion. This could lead to release of large fraction of its radioactive inventory. One of the example, eh, one of the example plant is the incident caused in Fukushima Daiichi Nuclear Power Plant in Japan. in 2011, which the nuclear meltdown and a number of hydrogen explosion. This has caused a huge damage to the country. Yeah, that's all for my question 5.
Okay, good. Question 7.
Yeah, for my question 7, in my opinion, I'm not suggesting that Malaysia go for the nuclear energy. It is because currently Malaysia are not ready for the impact that caused by the nuclear power plant. From a study of Mainz, German, it shows that the risk of getting cancer or leukemia is increasing for children growing up that living nearby of the nuclear power station. This has caused the issue that where to place the nuclear power plant as such it has such serious impact to the nearby village. Next is due to the unstability of the nuclear power plant. Although in Malaysia although in Malaysia doesn't have natural disasters such as earthquake, typhoon, or others disaster compared to other countries, but there are still many uncertainties that will cause the leak or reactor meltdown. Yeah.
Okay, all right. So you disagree with the proposal lah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, Kai Chen.
Yeah.
Yes, come.
I just
Yeah, Kai Chen.
contact. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Mei Lin. Ong Mei Lin.
Yes, sir.
Yes, come. Share with us your answer.
For question 5, in my opinion, nuclear energy will not have major role in future because it creates harmful waste product. Nuclear fission can create clean burning energy, but the radioactive waste product can be very harmful to the environment. Without proper disposal site, toxic waste dump can damage a regional environment for hundreds of years. Even
Okay.
an authorized nuclear disposal site such as the Hartford site in Washington state offer the potential of having radioactive
Okay.
plutonium particle to be released into the atmosphere.
Okay, you're talking about pollution that to the regional area. If you have read the story about Fukushima or what the decision of the Japanese government want to do now is to drain their polluted nuclear polluted water into the sea. Okay, so you can quote this example to enhance your justifications. Do you aware that the Japanese government is planned to do that?
No.
I mean, you didn't read news. This 2 day only. Yeah, they're talking about they want to dilute the water, the wastewater, and then after that drain it to the sea, to the ocean. So other country, international country, especially Korean and China, are very worried about this step because it may cause the pollution to the regional area. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Continue. Mei Lin.
Besides, it can develop long-term health issue for people exposed. Cancer and other health concerns can develop long after the radiation.
Another
From,
major one is a mutation of gene. Yeah.
uh-huh. And some cancer take 3 to 4 decades to develop and can be difficult to treat.
Mm-hmm.
Moreover, the nuclear is explosive too. Nuclear fission can be the foundation of cheap and clean power. It can also be the foundation of powerful weapons that create mass casualties. The atomic bomb, which start with the same fission reaction that were dropped in Japan, killed up to 2,000 and 26,000 people over a 4-month period. About half of those deaths occur on the same day. That means this technology is a very real threat to continue life on our planet. That's all
Okay.
for question
Question
5.
5, right? Question 7.
Question 7. In my opinion, I disagree with Malaysia go for nuclear energy move because biggest issue would be the containment of energy from leaking. The government would also have to determine the cost that would be incurred apart from finding methods to manage such a project successful.
Okay.
A worst case scenario is leakage in a case of nuclear exposure that could cause various types of cancer to develop rapidly, ending in an or a more severe and long-term outcome, which
More
is
severe.
more severe and long-term outcome, which is severe genetic inflammation that cause mutation. Mutation as a result of nuclear radiation is also a serious issue as it could last for generations. In some cases, babies are born with organs outside of their bodies. They are sick all their life and cannot develop normally. One other disadvantage is the extreme capital and operating cost of plants, including the requirement for highly skilled workers to build, maintain, and monitor the operation to ensure the safety and process of the plant. Besides, Dr. Mahathir say science have yet to find ways to manage its waste to prevent cataclysmic outcome, like what had happened in the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster in 2011. There is no guarantee even if Japan, as witnessed during the Fukushima nuclear accident in 2011, nuclear waste management could pose long-term risks to public health even if the country does dump the nuclear waste into the sea.
In this case, you can mention that because of the nuclear material is having a very long half-life. Can you still remember the chart that we are showing? Yeah, some uranium 238 is take up how many thousand of years to reduce the quantity to half. So the half-life is very long. So in the radioactive effect may run out through a generations. Yeah. Okay. Continue.
Then Malaysia export fish and seafood to other countries and had worked hard to promote the nation's agriculture industry. Dumping waste into the sea will contaminate all of it and cause export to fall, impacting the economy badly. That's all for my
Yeah,
question 7.
okay. Generally, your answer is okay, but the last point that Malaysia is depending on this aquatic economy one and agriculture is a bit weak lah. You can't see really what is the relationship between the nuclear energy and the economy that you mentioned. The example, the agriculture and the aquatic life one. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
Thank you,
Good.
sir.
Okay. Yeah. So if if let's say I put your answer into Turnitin or originality report, how many percent of your answer is coming from internet?
25 maybe.
Okay, not so bad. 25, not so bad. Okay. So during exam, you need to be based on your knowledge already. You may not have time to search for internet. Yeah, otherwise you will run out of time. Okay, class, I will end the class here. Then we'll continue next Friday on this question. Maylin, remind me that you are the last one for answering this question for this week.
Okay.
Okay, next Friday you remind me that you are the last one. Okay. Okay, before we end the class, any question?
No.
Okay. No. If no question, then we end the class here. And spend your weekend for doing revisions here. Okay, don't enjoy the weekend until the exam is over lah, because you're already third year already. Yeah. You are third year, second sem or third sem? First sem. Second sem, right?
Yeah, last time.
Third year last sem, right? So next sem you will go for final year project lah.
Yes, correct.
Okay, good. All right, okay. If no question, then we'll end the class here. Thank you, class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.